Hi everyone, my name is Bart Smekla and I will be our host for our today's meeting. I want to remind any of you that about our code of conduct, which we can summarize as be excellent to each other. And please add your name to the attendees list. And let's start. Is there anyone who would like to introduce him, her, themselves? Because I see some new names.
Sure, I can go ahead. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Hi, I'm Avinash Reddy, and I work as a solutions architect at Mirantis. I've been working in containers and then in Kubernetes space for a while, working on customer use cases. So just here to explore what just exploring different areas in the community, and then uh, just trying to collaborate into the community. So I'm not a open source uh, contributor contributor in the past, but just trying to find a new ways on how I can collaborate with the community.
Great, it's good to see you here.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi everyone. My name is Jodah. I'm currently an intern at Google working with Linus. I haven't really worked with Kubernetes before or worked with containers or anything like that. But I've been learning a lot like the past couple of weeks, and I guess the reason I'm here in these meetings right now is because I want to learn more about Kubernetes and kind of the work that's going on and that all of you guys are doing. So for the next couple months, you'll be seeing me around. Hopefully I get to talk to some of you, get to meet some new people. Nice to meet you guys though.
Great, it's good to see you here too.
Hi, I'm Dinesh. I've been working with Kubernetes for almost like 2 years now. I haven't contributed anything to the community, and then I'm trying to get into the space where I could contribute something to the community, and then also develop my skills and also work with the different people in the community.
Great, good to see you here.
Hi, I'm Berno. I'm working with II in New Zealand, doing some of the conformance testing. Been working on SRE and in Kubernetes for about a year, but also still very much on the fringes and kind of just learning what the community is about and how this all sticks together.
It's good to see you here, especially that probably it's like at 3 a.m. or so.
3:30 in the morning. Tomorrow morning, to be fair.
So yeah, good to see you here. Anybody else?
Hey, I'm Daniel.
Daniel.
Usually am in the SIG testing channel because I'm from SAP. We do the Kima project mostly. My team is running the Prow instance for Kima, and that's where I'm usually putting my time in. So we have contributed to Prow and test infra basically, and I'm just trying to stay on top of what's happening in the infra community here as well. So I'll be in and out of these meetings from time to time. It's not my first time here, but I guess it's the first time in introducing myself.
Great, it's good to see you, Daniel. Okay, I think, is there anybody else who would like to introduce him, her, or themselves? Okay, so the one thing which I forgot is to ask somebody to do notes, or if there is anybody who would like to be the note taker or AI manager, it would be great. Okay, I don't see anybody, so
I can try to take notes, but I'm missing a lot of context, so I will need some help.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's start from our recurring topics. As we did the billing review last time, Tim, do you want to do it right now too?
I pulled it up just out of interest. I pulled it up for the last month, but actually let me change it real quickly to just the last 2 weeks. So let's say about the 24th. The biggest single items are still, not surprisingly, the VM charges, which look to total about 8,500. And if we split those by group by, not SKU, group by project, it's prow, which isn't surprising. I think that's more or less what we expected to happen. It is interesting to finally put a real number on it. I guess there's no action. I wonder what we should do with this information. Like, having this information, I feel like we should publish it more. We have this report and whatever, but I feel like, you know, it might be an interesting lightning talk or something at KubeCon to talk about like how much running a project at this scale actually costs, and how much like good tests and how much they're worth the money. Just idle thoughts, not pinging anybody with action items at this point, but I think a casual observer might be surprised at how much we spend on just testing.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
So as we get closer to the North America, or did I miss the RFP already for that? I don't know. We'll find a venue that we can talk about this stuff. I think it's interesting. But that's all.
Okay. Great. So
nothing seems out of line. So I yield my time.
The only thing, okay, I will start with the update from my side. The biggest thing is I saw your team's comments with my DNS push script refactoring, and I actually decided to close this pull request and to open the new one, which already is there with the only changes necessary to remove Docker. But the tricky part is that even just removing the Docker is still 200 lines, which needs to be added. So there is a new pull request.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any real problem with what you were doing. What I didn't quite get was why you'd made a change to GetOpt, and I wasn't sure why that was necessary, because it seemed to drag in a lot of just noise with it.
Actually, yeah, this is probably some unnecessary perfectionism from my side. It was, you know, for me, it was clearer to have like a longer flags descriptions to see what exactly is happening. But I don't have like a strong opinion, so I decided that I agree with you. It's probably the noise.
Or like if we move to longer arguments, which I don't have a problem with the longer arguments, like, let's make the minimum change first and then switch to longer arguments as a separate step.
I actually think that I agreed with Aaron that probably maybe unnecessarily rewriting everything again, or like adding a new bash, maybe we could switch to Python from that part, especially. I don't have strong opinion. I was against at the beginning because it is introducing more another, you know, tool, another language to already like a big amount of tooling which we already are using. But from the other side, we already are using Python there to do this. And right now, after the refactoring, we have two scripts. One script in Bash, which is calling the other script in which actually needs the data from the first script to work. So that's why I'm more okay right now to do this refactoring in Python. Tim, did we lost you? Probably we lost Tim.
Apparently my computer doesn't have enough RAM to run both Gmail and Zoom.
Okay.
So Zoom keeps crashing on me. Yeah, I don't have a problem switching to Python. It will free me from having to do reviews of it because my Python is weak at best. But yes, small steps seems like the right thing to do.
Okay, perfect.
So I'll take a look at the PR as soon as I can.
So what the PR is already open with removing Docker. So if I would be really grateful because it's blocking me to do the DNS reconciliation automation via Pro. So if you will have any time to do the review.
You got it. I'll try to make that priority.
Perfect. So that's the update from my side. Linus, I saw some updates in last few days in container Infra motor. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, I guess the biggest one is that we're gonna try to do the domain flip on the 22nd of this month. So that's a couple weeks away. So it's finally slated to happen. We are, I communicated this on the mailing list. So I think it'll be a very unceremonious event because we already had the community meeting on this topic in the first attempt on April 1st earlier this year. I don't really see the point of having another like live Zoom meeting for the event, given how like there's no real new information that the community will benefit out of it. So everything else so everything is planned to go on June 22nd. It should finish by the end of that week. So I suppose by like the next or like the one after this meeting, in our biweekly meetings, we should see a surge in our billing reports for GCR usage because K8s artifacts product is owned by us, obviously. So we'll see costs there hopefully rise, and hopefully everything will go as planned. No surprises. The other update is I just made a very small PR for adding a run book to what to do when, you know, when something goes bad. For example, a bad image appears on production or image gets deleted, those kinds of things. I personally have never been an SRE, so I don't know how to write a run book, but I did just write some notes down. Please comment on it and help make it better. The one thing I did leave out is there is still no quote unquote bench beyond, I guess, Tim or Linus, myself, for dealing with such like errors, or you might even say emergencies or disasters, because just people just don't have, not many people have the context necessary to correct such situations quickly. I don't know what the solution there is other than trying to recruit people in this group to take on more responsibilities. But I mean, I was thinking about this last night, and I would like to hear other people's thoughts on this. It's like if we have, let's just say, a group of 5 people beyond just the Googlers, like Tim and myself, how do we make it so that people are prepared to actually respond to a real crisis if it actually does happen? Like, do we need to have like regular drills, or like, you know, or just in lieu of drills, like tests that actually try to fix things in a self-healing way? I don't know what the answer is there, but it is a topic that was brought up before, because the concern was that, you know, what if Linus is on vacation, or, you know, what if the Googlers are on vacation? What do we do?
So first off, thank you for getting it this far. Baby steps, right? I'm 100% with you on needing to build a bench. When we had those spurious alerts a few weeks ago, it went off at like, you know, 7 p.m. and I lost my mind. I thought, oh no, we're being attacked and we're finally catching the signal. And like I ran down to the computer and I realized I had no idea what actually to do about it. And when I went and I did what I knew I could do, it seemed okay, which is why we were able to file a bug and move on. But so the run book is going to be great. I will try to take a look at that. And that should have the appropriate URLs, and we should definitely make sure somebody who doesn't have super user privilege like myself can actually click on all those URLs and get the information that they need to take action. Somebody who's in the artifact admins group. And yeah, we need to recruit people here. Part of the goal of this whole working group was to get Google and Googlers out of the way of the community being able to do its thing. If we don't get any volunteers, then we're not actually fixing that problem. I'm not quite ready to turn up the heat just yet, but I would put out this sort of plea to anybody here. This is a very, very, very low engagement request. Hopefully we never ever have to do anything about it, which maybe suggests we do need drills. But we need some other people who feel responsible for this subsystem so that when that alert goes off, we can all talk and say, okay, oh, you're going to get this one? Okay, good, go dig into it and let me know what happens. So, you know, people who are here or watching the recordings, please think about if this is something that would be interesting to you. And Dims always signs up for everything. Somebody who's not Dims.
Definitely, you can in.
Sorry?
You can count me in, definitely.
Yeah, of course. Dims and Bart, as the leads here, are always signing up for everything. The goal, and Aaron, don't you dare. The goal is to get a broader bench of people who are participating. So for all those people who are here listening, I see 12 participants. So other than Linus and me and Dims and Bart, there's at least 8 other people here. Think about if this is something that you could sign up to do. If you want to participate, but you're not sure you want to write code or whatever, this is a low engagement way to be part of the community. So that's all. That's my plea. Linus, thank you.
And you can count that I can mentor and help if I will be able to. So if you don't feel confident at the beginning, at least, definitely there will be help. Okay, great. So any questions to Linus about it? Suggestions, questions?
Where do we get documentation information, kind of I'm still not 100% sure what we are signing up for.
What we have is a GCR repository that very soon will serve all of k8s.gcr.io, which pulls millions of downloads a day, at plural millions. It's actually quite a staggering number. And mostly it does what it needs to do and nobody needs to touch anything. Linus has put in place an alerting system so that if it detects that an unauthorized image has been pushed, something that isn't also in our Git repository, it will fire off an alert and a human needs to go and investigate what happened. So far, the only times this has happened is with bugs that are in the promoter itself. Assuming all of those bugs are taken care of, we hope, knock on wood, never to ever hear that alert fire, but we need to be ready for if it does. And if it does, you go and you look at the logs and you figure out, is this a valid image and there's just a bug in the promotion process, or did somebody actually push an image up in an unauthorized way that we need to be aware of?
Okay, thank you. I would be interested.
Okay, so I don't see any other action items, or no, there is no Aaron, because he would probably give us some updates about the Pro, because I saw there was some work, but unfortunately I don't have a lot of information. So is there anyone who have knowledge about it? I don't think so. So the only remaining item is the deploying GH proxy. So let's jump into it. Arnaud, please.
Hello, I don't know if you hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, it was mostly just give a heads up about what I'm doing. So, and this pair was a proposal to running GH proxy and to take advantage of the dedicated pool we create. But I think yesterday, US time, Aaron made a comment about we can drop the dedicated node pool and running inside the current node we have on the pro cluster.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm fine with this command, so but I can make the decision about this.
I'm looking into it. I actually don't have knowledge or opinion about it. Okay. So. Because I see you change the node pools from N1 standard 8 to E2 standard 4.
Yeah, that just it was because of the command made by Tim in when I created the node pool about switching from N1 the N1 machine type to E2 machine types. I think yeah, that was the command made by Tim. So I decided to change in this PI the machine type you use for GH proxy.
I completely don't have knowledge. If this is Tim, do you know if which one are better?
No, I paged out a lot of the context on this. I will have to go back and reread it. My only concern, if I remember, was why we need dedicated machines for these.
I don't know the tech. I don't know the technical reason about this because GH proxy was deployed like 2 years ago. So I tried to find any document or notes about this. So what I was doing, I was just trying to replicate the current context where GH proxy is running.
Okay. I actually think because I see you use the configs which are taken from Pro, so I'm actually okay with that, and don't have strong opinions about the node pool. Unfortunately, I think that we shouldn't wait for Aaron for his comments in this topic. And except that, do you need anything from us?
Not really. I will just address the comment and ping Aaron again for another review.
Okay, perfect. I will also try to speak with Aaron when he will be available. Any questions to Arnaud about it? I don't see anybody. So this was the last topic from our agenda. Is there any topic any one of you would like to start?
I have a quick thing that I wanted to ask before I even got into writing anything. There is a group of so Signode, like most SIGs, they have a group of people who look into CI and end-to-end test and the like, and end-to-end tests for Signode. They are a little bit more complicated than standard Kubernetes end-to-end test, and a lot of time people are required to actually spin up a VM. So they need a GCP account. They need to spin up some relatively large VMs or keep smaller VMs for good portions of time. And for some people, just having a GCP account is not so straightforward, and for some others, it's really it's getting a little bit expensive. I wanted to swing by and ask if there was any chance whatsoever that that this group could offer some type of account for at least right now people in Signode who work on CI, so they could use that for testing and development and maintenance.
Tim, can you?
Yeah, so it doesn't. So first of all, it seems completely unreasonable to expect people to pay to volunteer to be part of our community. So any place we find that to be the case, we should work to break that down. That's not right or fair. It sounds like it's not clear. Are what you're talking about working on the tests themselves, or working on CI failures related to other PRs?
Possibly both, but specific. Really, the whole idea is like anything related to an end-to-end test owned by Signode, that will kind of fall within the scope of possibly having an account, a GCP account. If that does that answer your question?
Kind of. Is the hardship here that you need to have an account, or that you need to have an account that has a credit card associated with it?
A little bit of both. First, it depends on various individuals. I don't know the specifics, but some people they have mentioned that they themselves cannot have an actual like GCP account, and some other people have just mentioned that it's getting expensive. So I think both things are an issue.
Well, so actually, I think there's even a step in between. So if there are people who simply can't sign up for an account for legal reasons or some other reason, forget the credit card or anything else, right? Just having a Google account is sort of a requirement for a lot of things in our community, like it or not. For most users, that should be enough for us to give them the ability. Like that's like a Gmail account, right? That should be enough for us to give them access to do things, which this group is totally responsible for. We should be able to do that. The second part is having an account that has a credit card linked to it means you can do things like create a VM. Even if you don't actually do it, you're allowed to. And then the third step is actually paying for it, right? So I don't think anybody should be expected to pay for it. And I don't think even the second step should be a requirement. What I guess I'm really asking is, like, are we talking about people for whom I can't even have a Gmail account? Or are we talking about people who just don't want to actually pay money, which is fair? This group, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. The details of it will be important. This group should try to find a way to make that possible. Is there somebody from the Signode side who's willing to come and talk to us about what sort of infrastructure they need and how we can set it up?
Yes. So yeah. Also, I didn't want to take a significant portion of the call because details really matter. But just wanted to make sure that this was the right place and it was something that could be done. Reasonable next step just to file an issue and explicitly mention whether the issue is a Gmail account, cost, and then further down specify what kind of infrastructure we actually need access to.
Right. So what we don't want to do is set up shared accounts, right? And so if we can assume that everybody can at least have a Gmail account, right? That's step one. Now we can set up like a playground or something where people on a certain group can go off and try things in order to debug tests, and that will come at our bill. But that's very loose, and I'm a little bit nervous about setting up just playgrounds for people because it's very hard to do accounting and understanding like where did the money go. But if that's the only answer, then that's what we can look at. The other answer is to set up infrastructure that lets people trigger via GitHub bots or things like that, various operations. So we should have a conversation about exactly what problems people need to solve and what the patterns are for how they solve them.
Okay, sweet. Sounds good. So
can you open an issue against the K8s.io repo?
Yes, and I will do my best to answer each and every single thing that you just mentioned. So
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's great. Any questions? Concerns, suggestions? Okay, so is there any other topic we would like to start?
I gave I'll give a quick update on the project Quota. I know Aaron's not here today, but I did hear back internally. Basically, I asked like, what happened? Why did it take so long? Apparently, there was snafu with some team members leaving. Anyway, long story short is we hit a really bad corner case, and they're working to make sure that corner case doesn't happen again. Also, I asked about why we were only granted part of the quota that we needed, and they're adjusting the policies to make sure that we can get more quota when we need it.
Yeah, that's great to
So
hear.
we probably will have to file one more quota request, but when we do, we should get everything we asked for.
That's great to hear. Any other topics, questions, suggestions, comments?
Sorry, what is the quota for?
For amount of
For projects.
Okay, thank you.
Given how many staging repos we've set up already and how many more we'll have to set up after the domain flip, we've run out of projects. We ran into a brick wall at 100 projects. They gave us another 100. We'll probably need a couple hundred more. I expect it will top out in the 300 to 400 range.
Thank you.
So,
which, by the way, Linus, you should be pretty proud of, is all running through your promoter. So
yeah,
don't let it fail.
Woohoo!
So I'm asking again for the first time because I'm close to suggesting finishing earlier today because there's probably not many of other topics.
Can we do a backlog review? Like go against all the issue and know if you can have some updates or can close them?
Could you repeat because I didn't get.
Can we do a backlog review of all the issue of K8s?
Actually, we did this last time and I don't feel really confident doing it. Maybe if there anybody who would like to lead this review. So maybe I would like to suggest maybe to move it to the next meeting because I didn't have a lot of time to look what's happening and there is no Aaron who probably would give us more updates. What do you think about it, Arnaud?
Fine for me.
Okay, so another topics for the first time. The second. Okay, for the third time. So thank you very much for everyone and see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.